this would be Tuesday. Oh yeah, the date. February 9th. We're going to learn about mythology and stories and all kinds of fascinating stuff from there. Let's see. Covered that. Checkpoint on Friday. Honor Society. We'll do in 3 days. Heroes T-shirt. Order form is on my website. You can find it there. They handed those out today too, or in my classroom. And let's see. We got down to the last 4, I believe. Is that correct? We got all the way through Cyclops with you guys.
So we're finished.
Yeah.
I don't think we did. I think you guys are.
Because I know we did Cyclops.
Yeah, that's why I just got done saying.
Okay. It was more
So
just
by
helping
no,
myself.
you meant yes, I was dead on. You just have
Yes,
yeah.
that's
No.
what it was.
Then let's go through and see how accurate we can be with our issues from there and do a quick review as we get into our stories for today. Chaos. Where did yes. Are you ready for it? Chaos. Where does chaos go?
Somewhere.
Gods and things. Because what was chaos?
Does that go in everything?
Big ball pudding.
What flavor?
Chocolate.
And then
Vanilla.
chaos eventually splits to form the first 2 gods.
Oh, we have to go through all of them?
No. Wow. No. And so, who were the first 2 gods that were formed? Well, if you can answer each one of these without me having to worry about it, then we don't have to go back and review them. So, what were the first 2 gods that he split to form?
Earth and
She's
sky.
all this because she's the one that created.
Oh.
So apparently me going over is going to be helpful. Alright, so once again, the first 2 gods that split to form were Earth and Sky. What's Earth's other name?
Oh, I knew this one.
Uranus.
No.
No, that's the sky.
That's the sky.
Hades. Gaia.
Gaia. Gaia.
Gaia.
Gaia and Uranus. Yeah, totally. Yes. Go for it.
Bro, how was that?
Kronos. Where does Kronos go?
Oh, God.
Gods. Kronos was the first god to do what?
Something.
Kill his father. He made it look cool.
Inspire
All his
people to
friends
kill.
tried to start doing it after that.
Oh my god.
Where does Hades go?
He goes
Underworld.
God, he does go in the underworld. But he goes in gods and places. And
Underworld.
once again, he was not evil. He was just grumpy and didn't want to talk to people. Wore all black, sat in the back of the room. Excuse me. And he was not very creative because what does he name the place where he lives? Hades. Humans could not say it, so what was the nickname we had for it?
Underworld.
Again,
And that's
very
where underworld
creative.
comes in. Titans. Where do Titans go?
Gods.
Gods. Which poster has a Titan on it?
All of them.
It's a trick question. All of them do. Every poster is a picture of a Titan because they're all the gods that are up there.
And they're all big.
Those are Titans too.
No.
That's not a poster. Mercurial. Don't you sass me if you're wrong, miss. Where does Mercurial go? Word. It's just other stuff. We're going to get to it today. It's going to be one of the words that we're going to define. Olympians.
Gods.
It is correct. Olympians, or the gods who live on Mount Olympus. There's thrones up there. Ooh. There can only be a certain number of Olympians at any one time. How many Olympians can we have? 12.
I was
Same
going to
number
guess
as
11, so
your
I was
number of
close.
pillars. Yeah. And Atlas goes in.
Gods.
And things. Atlas was super strong, and what does he carry on his back?
The
The
sky.
sky, or in the pictures, the earth, but it was the sky. And the Atlas, the thing, is a book of maps. Book of Earth.
You can see all around the world.
Glitter all
Sticks.
over my hand.
That's a thing.
The STYX, not the things you throw for puppies. Where does sticks go? And
Places, other stuff.
Places.
because she started off as a god, and then what does she become?
A river.
A
crappy river.
Eventually became a river of
Poison in the
there you go.
underworld.
The poisonous river in the underworld.
Ooh, I want to.
Scythe goes in.
Things.
It's
like the.
what does it look like?
It looks like what Kronos holds.
Looks like a thing
It looks
that.
like the golf. It basically
The string thing that Cronus holds used to kill your father. Not used. He
Yeah.
probably had a chainsaw. That's what he used. They didn't have chainsaws back then.
I need one.
Gia. Where does Gia go?
Gods.
And
Places.
so she is a god. And so she's the god. And what's the name for her?
Earth.
There you go. Mother Earth. Uranus. God of places. Because he's a god. And what else is her name for him? Father Sky. Then Nike goes in.
God.
A thing. God.
It goes in gods.
Wings.
Aside from Eros, she was the only god to have these
Wings.
wings. Nicely done.
Isn't it the
Mommy,
Nike
you're wearing them
symbol?
now.
And it's because of that. And what was she the god of?
The god of messaging.
Oh, no, victory.
Victory. The
Oh, that's the
god.
other one.
Hashtag winning. Trident goes
It's a
in.
big
It's
stick.
gum.
It's a fork.
Thing.
Big fork.
It's a huge fork.
The trident, three dents, the trident. Sacrifices goes in.
No, other stuff.
Other stuff.
A lava.
When you give up points by talking, you're sacrificing them. Yes, you can do. And then Cyclops
Other stuff.
Gods.
was the last thing we got to. When in other stuff, what makes a Cyclops look different?
didn't
One has one big fat eye.
Nice, with one
we
big
didn't
fat eye in the middle. And
Not as big
then
as Aaron's head.
Olympus. So that one. Let's go with raise your hand for gods, places, things, other stuff. Olympus. It was a place on top of a mountain where all the really cool gods got to hang out. If you were a Titan and you got invited to hang out at Olympus, you were then called a Olympian. How many Olympians could we have? 12, which is one more than 11. And so that's where Olympus comes in. Prometheus, god,
Yes.
place,
I don't
thing,
Oh wait, I didn't read
other stuff.
Oh,
I
that's
thought
what
it was a thing.
thought.
yeah.
Prometheus was the god of geniuses. His twin brother Epimetheus was the god of idiots. Because the Greeks loved irony. And so we had, there was actually a third brother that we'll get to. It was Prometheus and Epimetheus. Prometheus was the god of being super smart and thinking, and Epimetheus was the god of being super dumb and not thinking.
Oh.
Seventh grader? He was at heart. It's the same idea. Iris, god,
Yes.
place, thing, other stuff. Iris goes in two. She was the rainbow god, and Iris is also a thing. Part of your eyeball, nicely done, and a flower. We'll get to. And our last one, Clotho, god, place, thing, other stuff. Clotho had two sisters, Lachesis and Atropos. They were all three gods. They were the three fates, who were the ones that could control how long people lived. In the movies, they usually have like a string that they cut, and they cut the string, and that was supposed to be when people were born, but in that horrible Hercules movie, that's when they tried to kill Hercules. But they were the ones that controlled. They also would sometimes share an eyeball in the movies. They don't actually share an eyeball because that's really unhygienic. You have to wash it each time. Germs, cooties, and so it's the same idea.
Wait, is it like the people in
Okay.
Percy Jackson?
And so with here, what we're going to do is we're done with this. We'll come back to this story later. Hopefully you've done it, so I wouldn't have to be mean to you. You can put that to the side. What you need now is the blue sheet, because we're going to be starting to fill this in, going over our first stuff, and the iPadological device that where you downloaded those two things. We're going to be taking a look at the family tree, not so much, but the one where it has the gods and the Roman gods, we're going to be using some of those. We have 10 words on there where it says the jovial, serial, volcano, and all that. What we're going to do is figure out what god we get these words from. All of these words come from a Greek god or their Roman name.
Mr. Brovicast, what's the difference between Greek and Roman?
It's like the difference between English and Spanish. It's just two different languages that were there at the time. The Romans came a little bit later. They used a lot of the same gods. They just had different names for them. Sometimes the names will be the same. If you look at Apollo, Apollo's name in Greek is Apollo. His name in Roman is Apollo. Because when the Romans came along, they're like,
Oh, we like that word. We're not going to change it.
but then other ones are different. Aphrodite, and then in Roman it's Venus. It's all right. So what you're going to have to do is figure out by looking at the god, or looking at the god's Roman name, or looking at what they're the god of, figure out where we get each one of these words. And we're going to go through and see if we can help guide you. Jovial will be our first one to try and figure out where we get that one from the information on there. Also, to remind you, as I've had to remind other kids coming up today, make sure that you make good choices. Don't yell at me and get all arguey because I have to be mean to you, and that would be awful. And I will get to your questions. It just won't be till the end, so give me time from there. Try not to yell out, blah, blah, blah. Hopefully I bought you enough time to figure out where we get jovial from, so when I call on you, we can get to it. Anyone figure it out? Or I can just randomly call on a kid and help guide you?
No, Mr. Brovicast, we have no idea whatsoever.
Well, let's figure out. Otter, thanks for volunteering.
I
Very
knew it.
brave of you. I'm so proud of you on that one. So, did you figure out we have Greek and Roman names
Yeah.
on your little sheet there?
Yeah.
So, as an example, can you find Hera?
Okay.
Not there. There, yes. And Hera has a Roman name.
Okay, hold on. I'm getting there. Okay. Juno.
Juno. Nicely done. Has nothing to do with this. But do you know who Hera was married to?
No.
Ooh, do you guys know who Hera was married
Yes,
to?
yes.
Who is Mr. Hera? Tommy?
Zeus.
Zeus. Let's look him up then. We'll go for the family tree. Jupiter or Jove? Would that be connected?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's jovial.
Look at you, Otter, learning. I'm so proud.
I'm so confused.
And so Zeus is the god we're going to get it from because Zeus's Roman name was Jove. See, look at Ben. Otter got to be a teacher also, so I'm so proud and tinkling. And so Zeus, wait, let's back up. Do you guys know what Zeus's job was in Greek mythology?
Oh, he was to yell at people.
Kind of. Tommy?
He was to strike people with lightning
He did strike, but why does he strike people with lightning now?
because he hates kids.
He does hate kills, much like I do. You're on the right track. Gus? Yeah, he was the ruler. He was the king dog. He was the one that got to control everyone else. Zeus is the one that's over here in the holding the lightning bolt. It looks like he's made of part fish, which is weird. He's also over here standing up, holding a lightning bolt. Ride the lightning, Metallica. He's also the one over here sitting wearing purple with the whole lightning bolt thing. He really liked his lightning bolts. Zeus was the king that ruled everything.
Well, what does that mean that jovial means?
Well, let's back up. Have you guys ever heard the word jovial? Do you know what jovial
I
means?
think I have.
Is it something in your throat? I've never heard
It
that.
is not something in your throat, but it is something in your mouth sometimes. If you can be jovial, it's like a state of being, if you will. You would probably prefer me to be jovial, although I'm probably the most jovial of all your teachers, but even I'm not jovial all the time.
Me?
Ooh, you want me to be mean? I like it. Done. For some of you, I will jump straight to that. It comes from Zeus, because it was thought that this was how Zeus would be, because Zeus was the king of all the gods. And he was always in control. Bailey?
Mean?
Still not mean. But I like, you really want me to be mean. Just yell at Mr. Bro. Fine, you're a horrible child. And he's like,
Is it controlling?
ooh, no, but I like your guess.
Happy.
What?
I know. What? People are happy. Yes, it's this emotion that some humans have on occasion. But never in this room. I know, it's where it gets confusing. The idea being is that if you're Zeus, and you're in control of everything, and you're not only king, but you're a god, and king of everything, you have to be happy, because everything's going your way. So it's like being on top of the world and being all happy. They would say, you're very Jove-like. You're very jovial. So,
Mr. Broviak, you're kind of jovial.
I know, I smile when I have to be mean to some kids, because they keep asking me to be mean to them. And that makes me feel all happy, and I become jovial.
You're like,
I know.
Mr. Broviak, be careful, more butter's gonna hit you.
See, that's a reference. They have no idea what's going on there, but here we know all about eye rolls. It's unfortunately that the Greeks also loved irony, because it's very ironic that we get the word jovial from Zeus. My question is, why would it be ironic we get the word jovial from Zeus? This requires you to know what irony means and then to apply thinking.
But my brain hurts already.
Francis?
Because he's not always happy.
He was never happy. You are correct. Almost all the stories we get into of Zeus, he's grumpy and trying to kill somebody. Would you like?
Well, that would bring me happiness.
I know, but in the process, he's very grumpy.
You said that he was very friendly and made lots of friends.
He was very friendly, but he usually celebrates the friendliness by killing someone shortly afterwards. He had emotional issues, and there were definitely problems. And so the fact that we get our word happiness from him is ironic. Cereal! Let's go to that one next.
Oh, I think I found that one.
And where are we going to get Cereal Jones?
From, wait, I forget. It's like Dementis or something.
Humantis? Not Humantis. I like you're going with that. Dakota?
We're gonna get cereal from the store.
The Star?
I know
The
this one.
store.
Store! Yes. What god is that?
The shopping guys. I don't know.
Me either, but a solid attempt at losing points. Ainsley!
Demeter?
Why would you say Demeter?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, because right next to it says series and it says
Which,
cereal.
what's she the god of, though?
Oh, goddess of agriculture and fertility.
That would make sense. Boom!
Oh, it was right.
I know, I'm
Yay.
learning. Demeter, who was the god of growing and agricultural and stores and stuff like that. She's the one over here above Rooney, who's got looks like she's hugging the wheat and staring off into space lovingly.
Oh.
She's the one over here sitting on a throne of corn because it's wheat's cousin. She's the one over here looking all grumpy, doing angry fingers, and once again hugging wheat. The girl liked to hug wheat, and so that's where the whole idea of she made the crops grow and stuff like that, which means cereal. What would be the definition of cereal?
Wheat.
Food from
Wheat.
food from grain,
Oh.
because it came from here. So when you had a big pile of this food from grain, you're like, oh, look at that, that's a pile of food from cereals. That's cereals full, and from there it became cereal-ish.
Mr. Brovicast, I had cereal this morning.
I'm proud of you.
I don't think there was any grain in my cereal.
What,
I think it was sugar-covered sugar.
it probably is. Most of the cereal you guys have nowadays is sugar-covered sugar with like sugar on the outside of it, the sugar on the side, let the sugar go down. But at one time, cereal was made from like oats and bits of hay. The problem is, doesn't taste real good. It gives like,
Oh, this is kind of lucky.
so they put sugar on, like,
Oh, that tastes much better.
and the companies realized if I want to make more money, we put more sugar on it, kids eat more of it, and they spaz out, and the parents will buy more of it, and they just start throwing money at us. And so eventually they started doing that, made more money. Like,
Let's make even more money.
there's not enough room in the box. We can make the box bigger.
No, that's not it.
Pull out some of those oats,
Yes!
put more sugar in,
Genius!
and so that's where it went. So now it's just sugar on top of sugar. Volcano! Now we get a chance to jump to that one. William,
It's like that
that why would you say Hephaestus?
because he's the god of the smith.
He was the smith, like Jones's, but different?
No.
No.
He's the god of metal and stuff.
Nicely done. What's his Roman name?
Vulcan.
Nicely done. So we get the volcano from this guy, Hephaestus. And by the way, those two letters in the middle, what sound does a PH make? Yeah, like a telephone. You've seen this before. It's not Hephaestus. Why would you pronounce it Hephaestus? It's an F, Hephaestus. Different from his cousin, who was the god of diseases you get when you don't wash your hands and then after using the bathroom, called hepatitis. And they did not hang out a whole lot, but hepatitis and Hephaestus, two different people. Hephaestus was the god of smiths, which is this dude up here who looks like he's on fire. He was also the only god to be ugly and the only god to be crippled, but it's okay. He was ugly and crippled because it was a punishment because he made his parents mad. And when he was young, his parents decided to teach him a lesson, and they crippled him for life and made him ugly, which is bad, but when you live forever, it's even worse. And so he became known as the only ugly crippled god because parents hated him. And so that's why he has this right here is a crutch or a little cane kind of thing because he was crippled. The thing that he's banging on right there is an anvil.
What's an anvil?
You ever seen Looney Tunes with the Bugs Bunny or the Roadrunner? They drop it on top. Bing! Looks like that. You drop it on top of animals who flatten them and they get up and shake it off and run away with a little lump on their head. It's you definitely should try this at home. Usually with a younger brother. Trust me, they'll be fine. If cartoons have taught us anything. Over here behind Matson, same thing. It's hard to see that one. That's a fire behind him and an anvil. He's got a little crutch.
Mr. Brovicast, he looks all grumpy up there.
He is grumpy. He was one of the grumpiest of the gods. For a couple reasons. One, crippled, ugly, parents tortured him. Two, he got married to the most beautiful girl to ever exist, and she hates him, so she decides to torture him by becoming friends with his brother, just to make him upset. But this is another fun story. He's also the one over here, that's his cousin. And then he's the one over here sitting all grumpy with the thing next to him. That's Hephaestus. Hephaestus was the guy who made all the armor and the weapons for the gods. Because being all ugly, he didn't like seeing people because he'd be like, hey, how are you? And there's, oh, God! And they'd see him and they'd scream. And so that kind of made you feel self-conscious, wearing a hood all the time. And so he often would go by himself and live in mountains, and that's where he would work on the smithing. But the problem is, no chimney. And so it would build up all of this fire with him working, and eventually that fire would build up and then blow off the top of the mountain. And whenever they saw that, like, oh, that's obviously where Hephaestus is working, or Vulcan. And they would say, Vulcan, oh, because of the explosion of the fire and the lava. And so a volcano is a mountain that is full of
Lava.
Fire.
There you go. Mountain full of fire. Because that's where he was with the fire on the inside. Connected to him. Mountain of fire. Mercurial. Next one we have. Reagan.
Hermes,
Why do you say Hermes?
because the other name for him is Mercury.
Nicely done. His other name is Mercury. He's the one over here in the Heisman Trophy pose, right over yonder. He was he had a number of jobs we're going to get to him. Messenger of the Gods was one of his jobs. He also has this little stick thing that we're going to talk about too. He's the one above Isabella, who looks like he ran so fast his shirt fell off. Poor guy. But he does wear an adorable skirt. And then he's also the one over here who's wearing some kind of weird capey type thing while he runs also. With him being super fast, he was the fastest of all the gods. Fast enough to have us finish on Thursday. Because the fella's gonna rain. So we'll find out, we'll start with him and figure out why he's all super and awesome on Thursday. Good job with the learning so far.